Hey folks, Leo here once again. Welcome back to another review. Hope y'all like my Pixar shirt. Anyway, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you enjoyed my review today of Ultimate Adventures the movie from 2006. That's on my channel right now if y'all want to check that out. And continuing, we were back to a live action uh, superhero movie. This is actually a revisit review. Y'all know I've been on the superhero marathon on my YouTube channel. I'm on the 2000s era of superhero movies. I just keep on saying this, y'all, just in case any new people or new subscribers are coming on this channel, just to let you know what's going on and what videos I'm doing. But like I said, superhero marathon. I've been on the 2000s era of superhero movies. Now I did review the second movie on this channel when I lived in Georgia, and the first movie was reviewed on my other channel, but it is on the superhero marathon, and I reviewed the other films too. But this is the last film of this trilogy, the third film of this trilogy, superhero film that is directed by Brett Ratner, and that is X-Men: The Last Stand. Yeah, I did review this about 10 years ago when I started out on YouTube, actually on my other channel. Yeah, 10 years ago. I did share that review in there, and it was review/rant. And once again, this is going to be a review, a review's review, but it's going to say /rant on that because I was disappointed with this movie. I was not a fan of this film. I don't hate the movie. I don't think it's one of the worst superhero movies ever made, but I would say it's my least favorite of the original X-Men trilogy. I do think it's a disappointment ending. It just this movie just messed everything up. Yeah, it just was not very. I mean, there's some good stuff about this movie, but it has many problems, many flaws that just bring it down to me. And yeah, nearly make it as nearly a film that deserves to be ranted on, in my opinion, because it's not bad, but it's not all that good either. There's a lot of stuff that is just with the story and what they went with it with the characters, what they that pissed me off. Mostly what they did with the characters in this movie. You had two first-rate movies that were really good, especially X2, and then you come into this. Yeah, you'd be if you love the first X-Men 2 movies and you loved X2 like I did, because I love that movie, I love that film. That film's great. And you jump right into this movie, you're gonna be massively disappointed, like I was. Yeah, but anyway, I'll get into that. So anyway, and some of the cast just come back, which I'll get into that. But for the production, Bryan Singer, who directed the first two 20th Century Fox X-Men films, he directed the first two movies. He left the project in 2004 to direct Superman Returns, which again, I don't like Superman Returns very much. Yeah, that's one of my least favorite Superman films, along with Superman 4. Yeah, I don't like those films. I don't like Superman Returns. I thought that was a lackluster movie. Yeah. And I thought that movie had a stupid plot, too, and a stupid story as well. Yeah. But for Warner Brothers, Singer said that he didn't fully have X-Men 3 in my mind. But I did hear that he left for Brett Ratner and some of the producers, he left him a good script. But anyway, let me continue here. It turns out a fully formed idea for a Superman film and interest in joining that franchise, which I think was a bad move on Singer's part. I think he only joined it because he was nostalgia. Again, Bryan Singer was a huge fan of Richard Donner, so he jumped in making this Superman movie just for his nostalgia. By the time of his departure, Singer had only produced a partial story treatment with X2. Screenwriter Jan Harris and Michael Dougherty, who accompanied him to Superman Returns, the treatment focused on Jean Grey's resurrection, which would also introduce the villainous Emma Frost, a role intended for Sigourney Weaver. Frost was empath, manipulating Jean's emotions in the treatment, and, like the finished film, Magneto desires to control her. Overwhelmed by her powers, Jean kills herself, but Jean's spirit survives and becomes a godlike creature, the Phoenix, which Dougherty completed the Star Child in 2001 Space Odyssey. New contracts for returning cast members were made as the actors and actresses had signed for only two films. Hugh Jackman contract including the approval of the director, intentionally offering the position to Darren Aronofsky, for whom he had just finished filming on The Fountain. Joss Whedon, whose comics, but Josh Whedon did go on to direct the Avengers movie from 2012. Yeah, whose comic book storyline gifted, so he still got to work with Marvel regardless. Which he wrote was interior to the script's plot. Turned down the offer because he was working on a Wonder Woman film. Rob Bowman and Exposed were also rumored to be helped for consideration. Those parties personally turned it down. They personally turned it down. Sentencing fused with Fox President Thomas Rubman while producing iRobot. Zack Snyder was also approached, but he was already committed to 300. But uh, he did go on in 2009 to release them to direct the movie Watchmen, which came out in 2009, and of course make Man of Steel, which came out in 2013. I enjoyed both movies, but that's just me. Peter Berg was also considered to direct the film, but turned down the role. Guillermo del Toro, who directed Blade 2 and Hellboy, the first Hellboy movie, they were offered to direct the film, but turned down as he was already committed to Pan's Labyrinth. In February 2005, a no director hired, Fox announced that May 5th, 2006 release date. Film to start in July 2005 in Vancouver. 1 month later, the studio signed Matthew Vaughn to direct and pushed the release date 3 weeks to Memorial Day. Vaughn cast Kelsey Grammer as Beast, Dana Remeza as Vinnie Jones as Juggernaut, but family issues had him to withdraw before film began, so you can see it drop out. I think he did go on to direct X Men First Class, though. Yeah, he did, and he also went on to go before X Men First Class, or before that, yeah, he directed Kick Ass. I guess Kick Ass too. I don't look it all up right now. And he went on to make the Kingsman movies. Yeah, Kingsman: The Secret Service, Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Vaughn was also cautious of the tight deadlines described by Fox, saying that he didn't have the time to make the movie that I wanted to make. On October 23rd, 2023, Vaughn said that he left the project after a group of executives had tried to sign Harley Berry on with a fake script. But it included scenes of Storm rescuing kids from Africa. Brett Ratner, who was previously considered to direct X-Men 1996, and John Moore were both in the running to replace Vaughn during pre-production on June 5, 2005. Ratner was confirmed as Vaughn's replacement. Ratner said he was surprised to get the invitation, as he thought he would have no chance to do a comic film after the canceled Superman fly for Warner Brothers. With the limited knowledge of the X-Men mythologies, Ratner trusted his writers on doing something faithful to the comics, having the script dropping all his scenes from the original Marvel publication. For the writing, Simon Kinberg, who had worked on the other two Fox produced Marvel comic films, adaptations like Fantastic Four and Elektra, both that came out in 2005, was hired as writer for X-Men 3. In August 2004, X2 co-writer Zach Penn was working on his own draft, and the two joined forces for a combined screenplay in January 2005. They wanted to do the Dark Phoenix doc from the Uncanny X-Men with Chris Claremont and artist John Byrne to be the emotional plot of the film, while gifted by Whedon and artist John Cassidy would serve as the focus. The duo have 7 months to complete the last 10 script, and during the first week of work, completed the first 80 pages. Consists of the two-thirds of the plot. This uncut draft was leaked to Andy Cool, who proceeded to write a negative review. Vaughn later revised all of the major sequences in the film, but he did not receive a writer's credit. The writers had to fight Fox's executive to retain the Phoenix plot, as the studio only wanted the Cure story as a provided reason for Magneto's conflict with the X-Men. Still, the disputes made them not add much for Jean Grey to do most of the film's second half, as executives considered the tone of the Phoenix story too dark for a mainstream summer movie, and that its appeal would be limited to hardcore fans rather than general audiences. Penn divined the diagnosis from the original Dark Phoenix arc and read that right, saying the Phoenix was not a firebird-shaped cosmic force because if it didn't fit into the world, Cyclops did not have much less screen time as Wolverine because the latter was more popular with Cyclops. Can't see his eyes. It's harder character to relate with the audience. Killing Cyclops was Fox's decision, which was a stupid decision, but James Marsden would go on to, of course, be in Superman Returns, so that's why. Yeah. Oh, did you hear that? That was the studio decision. It should not be their decision to do that. The studio said kill him off screen with a dialogue reference, but Kimberg insisted that Jean kill him. A phase in the relationship. A Vader's death was intended to match the impact of Spock's demise in Star Trek Truth About the Con. No. As Spock's wrote the script called for a dramatic turning point, they grew to like the idea of killing off Xavier. They decided to write a post-credit scene to suggest the character for a sequel. Ew. They started development Explorer Wolverine. Limitations were set on which mutants could be used for cameo appearances in X-Men 3 to avoid risking character development for Wolverine. Gambit was considered both the convoy scene being freed by Magneto in the Battle of Alcatraz along with the X-Men, but the writers did not want to introduce a fan favorite character Kimber reason. There's just one enough space, and consider Gambit would only work with as much screen time as Beast. Alan Cumming having uncomfortable with the long hours he had to take with the prosthetic makeup and as Nightcrawler next too, but still planned to return for the sequel. But Nightcrawler was so memorable, however, the studio felt it was not worthwhile to go through the long and costly makeup process, so the character was cut, which sucked. I mean, Alan Cumming, guaranteed before this, yeah, he went on to do some of the Mask as well, and that film sucked. So maybe that hurt his career a little bit. I don't know if it was that, or they just couldn't have time for him. But think about it, he did some of the Mask, so they're probably thinking, okay, yeah, we don't want him. I'm not saying he would have done a bad job. I would love to see Nightcrawler in here, but maybe the studio. I'm just thinking. I'm just saying, guys. That's probably what Fox was thinking. All the people behind the scenes of this movie were making it. Bill Ratner, the writer's like, he did some of the Mask. We don't know if we want him for budget. Ratner collaborated with Penn and Kimber, rearranged the plot structure of the film. Originally, the Golden Gate Bridge figures was in the middle of the film, was used by Magneto. Ratner felt too many recent action films, such as Planet of the Apes, Next to XL, had their ending in Washington and the Golden Gate sequence. This was the castle for Xavier's school. X-Men Last Stand began shooting in August 2005 and wrapped in January 2006. Most of the film was shot at Vancouver Studios, the same location of X2. Locations include the Haley National Park historic site and Rose Road University, which doubled for the X Mansion. The tight schedule made Ratner begin post-production the day I started shooting, sending the scenes he had just filmed to the editors. The team was led by Mark Verlush, who had edited all the Ratner's films. According to associate producer Dave Gordon, this is the biggest production ever filmed in Canada. It used to be X2, now it's X-Men 3. The film's record would be first broken prior to the Caribbean 3 with a budget. To make sure the visual effects remained just 1 year, John Bruno shipped the 900 visual effects shots to 11 companies in 4 countries: the United States, New Zealand, UK, and Canada. The music score was done by John Powell. And for the marketing of the movie, it was a bit darker. And again, I don't mind them going darker with the third movie. I could see that in the third film, yeah. Rather than a third, the decision was made so that the film would be different from all the other movies in the summer, with a campaign that wanted people to stop and not have so immediately. Of course, they had the trailer. The film had a teaser trailer and all that. I do remember, because I was in middle school. I think I was in sixth grade when this movie came out back in 2005 or six. And I remember the teaser for this movie coming out, being excited for it. Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry, Kelsey Grammer. Picture of them right here. I guess marketing the film for the being at the premiere. Roger Ebert gave a thumbs up saying, "I like the action. I like the use of the minutes of mutant powers, and I especially like the way it dishes of those political issues and lets them fight it out with the special effects." So yeah, X-Men Last Stand has been criticized for killing off characters such as Charles Xavier, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. Thankfully, Days of Future Past came and that erased this movie. You know, the movie did get nominated for Best Editing, favorite female character Halle Berry, which I think she earned that, especially after getting her Razzie for Catwoman. Yeah, and also after this movie, there was a lot worse to come after it though for X-Men films, especially X-Men with Wolverine and First Class, Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. But we got the Deadpool movies, we got Logan, the Wolverine. Those were good, I thought, in my opinion. But for the cast of the movie, you have Hugh Jackman as Logan Wolverine. The mutant born with a hyper animal-like senses, claws in his hands, and a healing factor as well. Holly Berry as Overnorth Monroe, Storm, a mutant. She was one of Xavier's early students. She has ability to manipulate the weather. That's her power. Ian McKellar as Eric Lyncher Magneto, who is the leader and founder of the Brotherhood. Magneto is a mutant Holocaust survivor. He has the ability to control metal, manipulate metal, making him one of the most powerful mutants. Patrick Stewart is Professor Charles Xavier, who is the mutant with telepathic powers and the founder of Xavier's Institute for Gifted Students. You know, oh, it says Stewart signed on to the film without knowing Xavier would die and not meeting original director Matthew Vaughn. Franklin Jamez as Jean Grey Phoenix. She's a mutant class 5. She comes back. Of course, spoiler alert, Jean comes back. You might as well know that if you got this movie or seen the trailer, you should know she comes back. It's not much of a spoiler. But she has technical powers. She has this phoenix monster inside of her that's all powerful, angry, and rage. Anna Paquin as Maria Rogue. She can't touch. She anywhere she touches, she can hurt you. So she can't touch you without absorbing. So you know what I mean? His powers, but it can also kill somebody if she touches them for too long. Kelsey Grammer as Dr. Ham McCoy. Beast. I love his Beast in this movie. A lot better than the actors than we had in the X Men First Class and all that. He's a former student. He's like a Secretary of Mutant Affairs. He's brilliant. He's covered in blue fur and he's had strength, reflexes, and agility, as well as pointed fingers and line like war. James Marsden and Scott Summers, Cyclops, who's the X Men field leader. His his powerful energy blasts come from his eyes. He can't look at another person without destroying them. That's his power. Rebecca Romaine as Raven Darkholm, Mystique, a blue skin mutant who possesses the ability to shapeshift to anyone's appearance. Sean Ashmore as Bobby Drake, Iceman. Iceman can create constructions of ice or blast of cold. Yeah, I guess Brian Singer asked him to play Jimmy Olsen, but he denied the role. Yeah. Aaron Stanford as John Alice Hyro, a mutant who was one of Xavier's students, with a grudge against his former friend Bobby, and he can manipulate fire. Yeah. Vinny Jones as Cam Marco, Juggernaut, a mutant criminal resurrected in Brotherhood in a prison truck. He's incredibly strong, fast one. He gains momentum. He's nearly unstoppable. They had to go through a 4-hour makeup process to portray Juggernaut, which included a muscle suit and a prosthetic chin. Elliot Page plays Kitty Pryde, immediate with the ability to phase through matter and walk through solid. Alright, and the film once again is directed by Brett Ratner, who not only this movie, but he directed the Rush Hour film series, Family Man. Wait, oh, okay, yeah. I like that movie with Nicolas Cage. Red Dragon, I think that's a Hannibal Lecter sequel, one of them. Tower Heist, and I guess he's making a new Hercules. Wait a minute. No, not new Hercules. The 2014 film with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which I do like. Written by Simon Camberg and Zach Penn. And he wrote films like XX State of the Union, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, this movie, Jumper, Sherlock Holmes, X Men First Class, X Men Days of Future Past, 2015 Fantastic Four movie, Cinderella remake, X Men Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, oh gosh. And yeah, but the Deadpool movies are great. You know, I still haven't seen the new ones. That Penn. Oh, he did the story for Last Action Hero. Co story that. Men in Black, Ants, Spider Gadget, terrible movie. He wrote the story course for X2, Electro, terrible movie as well. Last Stand, another Marvel, two other well, this was again before, this movie came before the MCU happened, Marvel Cinematic Universe happened, but he did write two movies for that, did the story for both movies. That was The Incredible Hulk and The Avengers. So, he wasn't done with Marvel, but he also wrote Free Guy, did the script for that, with Ryan Reynolds, damn. Based on X-Men created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, produced by Lauren Shore Richard Donner's wife. Now, I mentioned that she wrote the Free Willy movie. She produced the Free Willy movies. You Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And the first two X-Men movies, she also produced Constantine, starring Keanu Reeves. Let's see. Oh yeah, she did produce X-Men Orders of Wolverine, X-Men First Class of Wolverine, X-Men Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and the Deadpool movies, including the new one, Deadpool and Wolverine. And she was an executive producer on Free Willy, Assassins, which was directed by her late husband Richard Donner, and Volcano. Yeah, Everett Howard. Yeah, he's made or produced a lot of Marvel movies. That started with the first Blade in 1998, and he still makes them today. So, still produces Marvel movies today. Cinematography by Dante Sponti. Okay, yeah. He did cinematography for L.A. Confidential, Hudson Hawk, The Family Man, Bandits, Hercules 2014, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Edited by Mark Goldbuck, and Jolie Wong. Movies like Money Talks, Rush Hour 1 and 2, R.I.P.D. Yeah, that's not a good movie. Mark Goldbot, Terminator 1 and 2, Judgment Day, True Lies, Showgirls, Hollow Man, and Star Trek Troopers that he edited. Julia Wong, shorts on it, Hercules, which is in Pink Panther 2, Hocus Pocus 2, Child's Play, the remake from 2019. Music is by John Powell. He did music for like the Jason Bourne movies, Happy Feet films, uh, Dr. Seuss, The Lazarus, Hancock, which is another superhero film, comedy superhero film. He did the musical for Ants, The Road to El Dorado, Chicken Run, Shrek. I guess he did the music, co-composed with it. Sorry, or was co-composer like on some films. Agent Cody Banks, like I said, the Bourne movies. I don't think he did any other superhero movies after this. Well, Hancock. I'm sorry, I just mentioned Hancock. But let's see, after Hancock. Sorry, I'm just curious. Sorry, folks. No, I don't see. But that's a shame though, because his music score was one of the best things about this film, in my opinion. Production company was John 20th Century Fox Marvel Entertainment, the Donner Company, Dune Entertainment, and terms of film partners. Distributed by 20th Century Fox. It was released May 26, 2006. It's 104 minutes long. The budget was $210 million, and the box was made $460.4 million worldwide. And the reason it made big money because the last X-Men movie was X2, I think, is a highly fan film. Is there by many fans of X-Men, including myself. We love that movie, and that's part of the reason why I remember being really hyped and excited for this movie when it was going to come out. Oh, it wasn't just Brian Singer; it was also John Ottoman who did the music score, I think, for the first two movies, which is fine. He does a good job recreating that. I may not like Superman Returns, but I do like, of course, the Superman theme, and he does add some new themes in there that I did like in that movie. But despite what this movie did, we did get Days of Future Past, and that fixed that and brought Jean back to life, and Patrick Stewart, and even though he's alive in that movie in the first place, yeah, okay, maybe time travel wise, but anyway, that's the people who all worked on the movie. So let me share the plot synopsis of the movie. Well, let's see. Well, in this third entry, this is like since like the final trilogy where the war finally happens. Is that The discovery of a cure, which is a few minutes, it's a cure that when the mutants take it, they become, normal, like us, like humans. It's a turning point for mutants. In the X-Men, what they have to do now is they must choose to give their powers, give their powers, and become fully human, or retain their uniques and remain isolated. War looms between the followers of Charles Xavier and Magneto. That Jean Grey, who died in the second movie, comes back to life. But she comes back not as Jean Grey, but as the Phoenix, which is a darker side of her. The Phoenix is like a split up personality of her. When she becomes the Phoenix, she becomes all powerful, rage, like a monster. And Magneto has a plan to start a war with the humans, and you know, for win for all mutant kind. But the X-Men have to take one last stand. You know, Wolverine, Storm, who are leading the X-Men, have to take a stand, and they have to stop and defeat Magneto, and of course figure out how to way to defeat Jean, the Phoenix, before the Phoenix can kill almost everybody in on the planet, with their powers. But that's the plot in the nutshell for you. While having to deal with the cure and having to deal with some losses as well. Yeah. So anyway, yes, this is gonna be a reflex round because I am disappointed with this movie. I don't fully hate the film, but I don't like this movie. There's I did a reflex round on Superman Returns, but which I'm going to share on later today on this on my new channel here on the playlist superhero reviews marathon videos playlist. But there were some things I liked about this movie. There's some things I liked about this movie, but both films are disappointing. They're not one of the worst superhero movies ever made. They're just disappointments. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So, X-Men: The Last Stand. So the film opens up with a flashback about 20 years ago. You see Professor Charles Xavier and Eric Lester. I can definitely tell it was CGI, and the CGI is dated. But they go, to meet the parents of Jean Grey. This is when Jean is just a little girl. I'll probably say she's what, 10 years old? I say 10 or 11. And they meet her. He's like, and they talk to the parents, and she's sick. You think your daughter's sick? Mr. Gray's like, oh, maybe it's better if we speak for herself. And he talks to them about, his school for the gifted, gives them a pamphlet of it, letting them know that he can keep her safe for them. Yeah. Either you can say at this time Xavier and Magneto. I mean, well, Charles and Eric were just friends. This is before they became enemies as Professor X and Magneto, where they were starting to build Cerebro, where they were starting to get students because Charles wants to teach them how to use their powers for good, accepting who you are. But they of course broke up because Eric sees that they're gonna turn your back on you. You gotta we gotta fight against them. We gotta fight for mankind. You know, with less time. They have that. But before all that gets, I'm sorry, we already had that conflict in the first movie. But here they're just friends. You know, starting out, I guess, with the school and stuff. And they meet Jean, and he's like, it's very rude, because he can read her mind. He's like, reading our thoughts are Mr. Lynchers. Do you think you were the only one you kind of like, Jean, you have extraordinary gifts. Oh, really? I doubt that. And she uses her power. She telekinesis cars outside, and the man that uses the water hose and the water go, it's actually a Stan Lee making a cameo. And he's like, Jean, you have an incredible power. But his question is, can you control that power? And she goes with them. Then we get another flashback that is 10 years ago of a young Warrington III. The kid that plays him, he was in The Adventures of Starboy and Lava Girl. And here he just has a minor role as he's trying to get knives and scissors to. He's got wings, like a bird, kind of like an angel. That's why his character is called Angel, as you can yeah, see right here. Oh, he never wears no X-Men costume, by the way. Hmm, yeah. Angel was just a character kind of thrown in here. They only throw the Angel character in here just to drive the plot of the movie. You know, give you the plot of the film. And the guy that plays his father, you go back to the cast. I'm sorry, I know it's an ensemble cast, but you also have other cast members in this film as well. Michael Murphy. Okay, let's see. He, well, I know he was in that movie. Okay, yeah, he was the mayor in Batman Returns. Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. I noticed him from somewhere. I was like, okay, yeah, he was the mayor in Batman Returns. But I refuse to help a mayor who acted like a baby. Yeah, sorry, just quoting Penguin from Batman Returns a little bit. But he relied on a man. Man, you know, well, better movie to watch than this. Anyway, so his father was just like, Warren over this, Warren over this. Like, not you too, Warren. He's like, Dad, I'm sorry. And then he crying. And then you get to the opening of the film, the soundtrack with John Powell, you know, dun 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 dun. You know, I love the theme song, the music score. And then you have the opening, not sometime in the too distant future, where the X Men, you know, that assist of course Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, Iceman, Kitty, Shadow Girl, whatever you want to call her, and Rogue. They're doing a Sentinel training. Like if the world's in danger, they can use their powers. Colossus grabs Rogue and turns her into Steel 2, and it hits this right that hits Wolverine in the face. I'm sorry, Wolverine's like this. The world's going to hell. You're just going to sit there? Come on, let's go. And he's like, and he's going to smoke. I mean, again, despite how disappointing an X Men movie could be, Hugh Jackman is still great. He's great in here. He's on his A game in here. No matter what X Men movie is, whether it's not very good or disappointing or where it sucks, he always brings his A game as Wolverine. I don't care what nobody says. He's great in any movie or any cameo it does as X Men. Wolverine. He just can't have no other playing. But I like it when he's on the car, one of the cars on fire. He's lighting the smoke. And it's like, well, Storm, good best offense is good defense or something like that. And she's like, we gotta learn to work together. Work as a team, Logan. He's like, that was my last cigar. He's like, Clausius, throw me. He's like, Logan, damn it, Logan, don't do this. And talking about Logan through the knives. And he's like, class dismissed. He's like, you really have to do that? No, well, he's like, Clausius, nice throw. And Storm's like, well, I'm trying to teach him. I'm trying to teach him how to work. I'm just, look, don't complain to me. Just go complain to Scott. And Scott Summers, Cyclops, says he's been a changed man. He's been really upset. He took Jean's death really hard. He doesn't even go out to be. And he's the X Men leader, but here he's depressed. Which again, I understand you felt heartbroken for him in the second movie when he lost Jean, but here he's just still sad. It's been a good couple of years since she died. On that day when she saved them. Uh, if you remember her death in X2, um, he's still upset. He's thinking about her, and he has these flashes of her drowning and her calling his name. Telekinesis calling his name. He's like, he's like, hey Scott, where were you? Could use it, whatever, Logan. He's like, look, Jean died. Don't mention her name. Don't mention that. He's like, maybe it's just time for us to move on. Well, you know what, Logan? Not all of us can hear fast as you, what Scott says. And you have Professor X, who's teaching them about Einstein, telling them, just teaching the class, and sees that Storm's upset because the the cloud turned gray. He's like, so the forecast was fun, sunny skies. He's like, what's wrong? He's like, that she was just upset about something. And when they talk, he's like, she tells Professor X, one of these days, Scott's got to run. Well, Scott's a changed man. He's like, there's something you're not telling us. And some of this movie, I don't like the way that they portray him. Where, yeah, he's like, and Storm's like, but there's something you're not telling us. And he just ignores him. But anyway, we meet also the character Beast, played by Kelsey Grammer. Really good makeup, by the way. They don't have him. Well, they had him somewhere. Oh, really good makeup for Beast, by the way. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert: Cyclops never wears his goggles in here. Never puts his suit on. Never leaves the X Men. So, yeah. But anyway, Beast talks with the president. They're talking about the cure. You know that or how they're gonna meet a president. You have Bill Duke in here as well. Bill Duke, who's in a Predator. He's also he did two superhero TV show. He was in a Black Lightning. But in here, he's like working with the president of the United States in this movie. He's working with the president. They talk about they captured Mystique, and Mystique, I guess, sometime got captured. She teases the guy that's interviewing her. And she's like, almost sick, and attacks him almost, and they have to get it down. And they talk about realize that they're wanting to build this cure. Then they hear it, and they talk. Beast goes talk to them about talks to the goes to the X Men school. Say, how you doing? And he's like, "Who's the furball X Men?" Wolverine says, and they're like, "Look, Wolverine, I heard you're quite an animal." I was like, about the same power, and I think maybe they edited it out, but I think he like roars or snarl, growl kind of at at that remark, you know. And they talk about the cure and what's happening with the mutants that they're planning to cure them. It's like, well, they can't do this. I'm like, and then Logan's like, well, the government's like had done this, and it's like, I'm sure the government, I'm sure you, my boy, the government has nothing to do with this. At first, Beast and Logan don't get along, which I thought was funny. He's like, I assure you, boy, I've been working for the government politics before you started having claws. Did he just call me boy? And Rogue, who's heard this, Rogue is upset because there's a bit of a love triangle that Bobby might like Kitty, but she can't. Again, she can't touch anybody without killing them for too long, so she can't touch them or hug them. And she's like, what are you upset about? And all that. So she's like, well, Bobby, you're a boy. Your mind's only one thing. I'm like, Rogue, I'm sure his mind is not just on that. If I wanted to kiss you, yeah, and do this, but I think he's been willing to patient. Not after X2, he's being patient with you and he still liked you. Like, first he met you, he's liked you. And yeah, Rogue in this movie, I just did not like. Just to her decision. But Rogue comes to them saying, is there a cure? Can they cure us? Can they cure our abilities? It's like, no, there's nothing to cure because there's nothing wrong with you. Any of us for that matter. You know. And Michael Murphy, who plays the mayor, not the mayor, but he's the guy that's creating this place. Beast goes there, meets Jeremy. But this boy talk about, he's like, I think he's scared to like bleach or something. When a mutant gets near him, they can't use their powers. I like the scene though when Beast tries to meet him, when Hank tries to meet him, and his hand goes back to like a normal human hand. He's like, Jeremy, you have a very unique gift, thank you. He's like, he is very unique, yes he is. And then you have also when we see Magneto, Eric Blanchard in the film, the mutants are talking about, what are we gonna do? We stopped that we need to have a community, but Magneto wants to start a war and says, you know, we're not gonna talk about this, we're just gonna go to war. Says, come and join me in my brotherhood and we'll fight for our kind. Or you work with will you be with me, will you be with the brotherhood, or will you join with the humans? And these three people that are the humans, they take the place of course, of Mystique and Toad and Sabretooth, which I was disappointed with. I like the Brotherhood in the first movie. This Brotherhood, I did not care for too much. These actors didn't care for too much. Except that like Pyro, I'll admit, you know. And Jump Pyro's telling her to back off. And one girl, she has these cool powers. I meant she can sense powers, and he has her. Is there one you can sense for me? We do see Mystique in jail in a prison court truck, trying to pretend that she's the president, or she can see herself as anyone as a little girl. He's like, keep it up, bitch. I'm gonna spray you. It's like that, and as Randy is a little. I mean, Mystique is a little was like, when I get out of here, I'm gonna kill you. Hey, yeah, I like to see that. Yeah, Magneto believes that it's a way to wipe out Mountain Mankind. So, oh, the team called the Omegas. Later, Cyclops arrives back at Akau Lake, which was formerly Stryker's Island. His building where he kept, you know, where he kidnapped Professor X, and then and the X-Men had to stop him, and the children as well. Cyclops throws at the lake. She's like, stop, 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 stop. And he's just like, wow. Like, stop. And then he takes his glasses off and looks at the water and just this beams from his eyes come. And all of a sudden, this water pool like comes, like, when it blows over and it knocks him out. It's like, Jean? Oh. And he's happy to see her, hugs her. He's like, let me tell you, Leslie, I can control it now. She does. Takes the glasses off and he looks at her. He's like, oh, your eyes. And he sees like, the red beam goes out. He kisses her, but she evaporates life out of him. So Cyclops dies in this movie, so he gets killed off. Again, Cyclops is the leader. I feel bad for what they did to Cyclops in this movie. It sucks what they did with Cyclops. I mean, it was just a character, but he's the leader of the X-Men. First movie, yeah, he doesn't do very much in the first movie. He does lead the team. Second movie, he gets knocked out, gets, you know, mind controlled, when Striker, puts that, thing in the back of their neck, which is like something he put water on there or whatever to control the unit. Does the same thing in Cyclops. In this movie, they just kill him off. All because the actor wanted to go to Superman Returns. I'm like, kill off a cool character like this. So stupid. And he, Professor X consents that he tells him, get the alcohol lake. And Wolverine and Storm go there. He's like, I can't say a damn thing. And she clears up the fog using her abilities. Like, Logan, this is Jean. Jean. And he tells her that Jean survived the power. He tells Logan about, they got her on the bed, in the hospice bed or whatever, on their gurney. She's just laying down, trying to work out her powers. And, I got to control her. When Jean was a little girl, she had this, I had to create these boundaries for her. I don't know what he did to her, but it did a lot of torturing. It's like the Phoenix is a beast that's angry and full of rage and desire to murder and to kill and all that stuff. It's just an angry beast, the beast that's inside of her. And Logan has common sense here. Logan, this makes Professor X. This makes Charles look like an asshole right off the bat. I'm like, it is completely wrong what he did to her. Even if it was for good intention, it's still an asshole and wrong thing to do. But he should have told her about it, or she could have tried to control this out of her. Instead, he keeps it from her. And Logan's like, sometimes when he kills the beast gets angry. He's like, you have no idea what she's capable of. No, Professor, I had no idea what you were capable of. He's like, I did my things for the right reasons, but for a good reason I did it, whatever. I don't need to explain myself meanable to you. And I'm like, and if Logan would have stormed out that building, I would have too. He doesn't, but I would have probably just stormed out of, walked out like, I'm out of here. But meanwhile, Morton's son, Warren, played by Ben Foster, I think the actor's name is. Yeah. But anyway, they try to give him his powers. Well, they're gonna give him the cure. You see his like the wings he has here, and he's like, I've changed my mind. Warren, it's okay. Warren's like, right. He like takes these guys out. So he blows out his shoots his full wings, and he runs out, flies, which is a cool scene. And Leech looks too. Jeremy sees this as well. With the help of one of the Omegas, Magneto was able to locate and free Mystique from prison convoy. He It is a cool scene though. This movie does have good action scenes. That's another point I'll give it. Magneto's using his powers. Of course, I'm trying to move it out of the way, and then the big truck he moves out of it. And the security guard that was, you know, gonna spray her with pepper spray, falls right to her cage where she's in her toward herself, and she grabs him. Mystique grabs him, breaks his neck. It's like, told you. She is able to use her feet to capture, get the keys, get out of there. And she tells Magneto about the boy Jeremy Leach, about what he can do. Because of course they get this guy named multiple man, and Juggernaut. And Juggernaut, Benny Jones, good actor. Some points where he can be a good gangster right here. His dialogue is stupid. First line says, Magneto's like, I can use a Magneto's talents. And he's like, you gotta let me out of here. And he says, you gotta let me out of here. I got a key. I'm like, he's like, I like the helmet. Keeps my head warm. And all of a sudden, one of the security guard wakes up and shoots Mystique with the cure by accident. Was about to shoot Magneto. And Mystique like, well, and Mystique turns human. And Magneto, she turns human. And Magneto's like, we gotta go with that. Eric, I'm sorry, my dude, you're not one of us no more. I'm like, really? After, I don't know why he had to leave her. I mean, Magneto created a machine that can make humans mutants, so he turns her back to the way she was. But no, he's just like, oh, see you later. You're not one of us no more. And I'm like, she was so beautiful. I'm like, really? That was just stupid for him to leave her because Mystique is your most loyal and the most loyal to you. She freed your ass from jail, got you out of prison, fought for you all the way, and you just ditch her. And I'm like, it's just stupid. That was stupid. He could have somewhat fixed that or reversed the cure. I'm like, if he's smart enough to build a machine, he should be at least smart enough to have somebody who could refix the cure to give immunity the powers back. But no, he never does that in this movie. Instead of doing that instead, I'm like, but again, I'm not saying we should do the same thing as the first movie, but he could have at least some kind of a machine, still parts of it to redo the cure or redo it, to make him back to immunity. But no, back at the White House though, Beast Hank resigns from the cabinet. He didn't want it to be used as a weapon. I get why. There's a good reason to have the cure. But the reason I hate the whole cure plot of this story is that it sucks. I think it's stupid to have this whole cure thing because number one, these mutants should be accepting who they are. Isn't that what it's about? Accepting who you are. You can't change who you are, even with a cure. You know, isn't that the whole point of X Men? Yeah. But anyway, he quits and says, wants to go back to X Mansion where the X Mansion where he feels like he belongs. In the school's infirmary, though, Jean wakes up feeling better. She wakes up. She says, "Hey, Logan, you're in my position where I was when we first met." And she slowly seduces him. She comes up to the top. They start making out, almost getting to break my love, but it doesn't happen because you see the Phoenix eyes come out of her. Like Jean's like, "This ain't you. This isn't you." I'm like, he's like, and can't remember what happened at all. All she remembers is coming out of the water and kissing him, and then blanked. And she probably knows that she did kill Scott. And he shows her Scott's glasses, not his visor, his glasses that he wears. When he's just, when Scott was just in the mansion, he didn't need them. He just wore red sunglasses. And she breaks it with a power telekinesis back. She's like, oh, yeah, we do this. Like, tells him, kill me, murder, kill me, kill me before I kill anybody. He's like, no, no, I'm not going to do it. And he can't do it. And then she turns right to the Phoenix, like, it's too late. You know, you tell her, use his power, push him away, and open the door and escape. And Professor Sweet, like, I've warned you. I've warned you. He was like, oh, she's so strong. But I think they know that she's headed to her childhood home. Magneto figures out that the government is using the cure as a weapon because the leader of the Omegas tells him that the Class 5 unit, and he knows it's Jean, and he has a plan to use her. And Professor X, Storm, Wolverine, they go to James' old childhood home, only to meet up with Magneto there and his Brotherhood. And him and Magneto start to go in, and Magneto tells Juggernaut to make sure nobody goes inside, just me and Charles. They try to go reason with Jean. Magneto tries to get her to his side, saying that he's controlling you. And she's like, what are you doing here? You're trying to control me? He's like, no, Jean, I'm trying to help you. I can help you. You know, and he runs like, get out of my head, get out of my head. And she starts becoming the Phoenix, where her eyes turn black and dark, and face turns dark as well. and she uses the power to get Magneto out of the way, and uses her power on Professor X. Stands up, you know, looking possessed. Uses her telekinesis powers, and and the last part he said, Logan and Storm try to go in. Storm gets by Colossus, the girl, the lady, she that can run fast and sense of the meanest power. She runs like really fast and you know and knocks out Storm. Storm tries to can use her powers, do this flipping around to knock something down, but the girl, you know, kicks Storm's butt, and even Logan gets his ass kicked by Juggernaut. Juggernaut's a big strong guy, pushes Logan around, pushes him up to the ceiling of the house, and Logan falls off the side, until Jean uses her power to lift the house up, and she's standing up, like kill him, and he's like, his last words to Jean are, "Don't let it control you," and then she reverberates him, so Professor X dies, and then when the house back down, they're knocked out for a bit. Magneto, who just witnessed his own best friend, not wedding, best friend die, doesn't help it, doesn't just stood there. Yeah, he could have done something, but he doesn't. Then he goes up to her and is like, "Come on with me, my dear, let's go." Magneto, you're stupid because your friend just died, and she just got angry and killed him right in front of you. What's her to stop doing the same to you? And what makes you think you can control her? You know, because Jean has the Phoenix Center now, and she could lose it in snapping. Do it anytime, kill you anytime she wants. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, you know, Wolverine and Storm see that the Professor has died, and they start crying. Then they throw a funeral for him. You know, put him in the grave. Technically, he's got Jean on his side, and Magneto has it out in the woods. Which okay, I actually didn't mind him being out in the woods. Some people probably complained about that. I didn't. I'm like, okay, neat location in the woods. Has a decent place so he can hide from the government and the president. They can't find him, and not even the X Men can. And he tells them, "We have our weapons, we have theirs." And he talks about how much he respected Charles, and they said, can we trust Jean to be here? Should we be bringing her here? Is that a mistake? Magneto doesn't listen, of course, but Power says, I would have killed the old man off myself. Like he talks like Charles did so much for our kind, so much for us, and you don't know what you're talking about, or something like that. Then you'll ever know. And he just goes Pyro off. Then they decide to do what the school's future. Matt Hank says we should close it down. It started with him, maybe she should send him, but Storm decides to keep it going. So she does become the new teacher. New, you know, uh, Rogue, I forgot to mention Rogue, who wants the cure, decides to go off, and Wolverine talks to her and says, where you going, kid? She's like, I'm just going out. You're going to go get the cure. I said, I hope you're not doing this for some boy, but Logan, I want to do this because I want to hug, a kiss, something. And I hope you're not doing it for this some boy, and I'm just doing this for me. And she goes off and does it anyway. You're doing it for a boy. Just I'm like, that's a stupid reason. So she goes gets the cure anyway. Bobby tries to go find her, but instead he ends up running into Pyro. He's like, Bobby looking for his girlfriend, huh? And he teases him, getting in his face, and he started getting mad. You see the ice coming out of his fist, and he's like, "Come on, let's go." He's like, "No, I'm not here," because he doesn't want to hurt nobody. And so, what Pyro just uses his power, hits the building, puts it on fire, and it hurts a lot of people. Man knows that this terrorist attack will happen again. Just choose to not be safe, you'll not be safe. And for the other mutants, you can either join me or stay out of my way. That he's threatening to bring this for him. And of course, they actually know they have to stop him. Magneto goes to the forest. Oh, I forgot. Warren Angel comes and they come. It's a place to stay. Wolverine sets off to go find Jean, but Holly Berry tries to, Stormberry tries to stop him, saying that you need to let her go. But I can understand Logan's reason because he does love Jean, cares for her deeply, he always has, and he knows that Jean that's the good servant. He still believes that she could be saved. And he says, because you love her. You either, all right, we either do this. She made her choice. Either just go, fight with us. And he does head off. Wolverine goes to the forest. I like this is a cool, like I said, some good acting, and I like to hear when comes up against one unit that's got like these spikes that come out of his bodies, out of his hands, and they use it to attack Wolverine. Wolverine just take it off. It hurts when he takes it off, but again, Wolverine has a healing factor, so he could take pain. He can get injured. You could slap him, punch him. He can have blood, on his nose and his face, anywhere on his body, and it'll heal up real quick. Wolverine. He fights some guys. He starts using his claws to fight some people. Fight some of them in a PG-13 way, but it's still cool to see. And the guy that's coming to throwing the spikes at him, runs, jumps at him, and stabs him. I guess just doesn't kill him, just knocks him out for now. And he's like, he's like, Gene. He sneaks up into, gets a jacket with a hoodie on, and Gene sees him. And he's like, Gene. And before they can say anything, Magneto shows up and says, Gene is here because she wants to be like, and you let your friend Charles Xavier die. You didn't even do anything. I'm leaving with her. And he was like, no, you're not. You're going. And he docks him away. But meanwhile, the president and the government, they learned the location from Mystique. They sent in troops, but it was multiple men stayed behind to serve as a decoy, because they think there's a whole bunch of them there, and then multiple men brings all his selves to him. Maybe explain that. But anyway, it doesn't work. It works. He's like, you got me. I give up. He's like, damn, where's Magneto? Magneto. Yeah, Magneto goes to the San Francisco Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge, and then the X Men, Wolverine comes back, and they set it together. They have to defeat him. They take, Wolverine. It's Wolverine, Storm, Beast, Colossus, Shadow Cat, and Iceman. He's like, but Logan, we don't have much of a team. We'll fight Logan. And Logan tells Bobby, well, Bobby, we gotta fight. We're the X Men. We're the X Men. So, and they all of a sudden team together, and they go for it. Well, anyway, sorry. Magneto and the Brotherhood go along with Jean. We'll go over the bridge, and you get the scene where you don't see it. Well, you go over the bridge here. That's where the battle takes place. Where he uses his powers. They were flat there and toss it all away. You know, to the island of where the cure's at. And this is where the war comes into place. Where the military, they can't get guns that are magnetic, so what they have to do is use guns that are plastic and have the cure in it to take down the units. And the X Men do head there in the jet, but the war's already getting started. As Magneto sends all the pawns, all his other big mutant army to just go after them. He's like, let them go first. And they get shot. A lot of them get shot. And they have all Magneto tries to use his abilities, but realizes it's plastic. He can't do nothing about it. They try to shoot at him and his group. Magneto uses his powers, his metal, his control metal to get some big pieces of metal to stop them from shooting the cure at them. Then he sends Juggernaut to get him the boy. Well, the X Men show up, which I thought was awesome. Beast showing up, cool. Storm coming. Just awesome music by Sean Powell. And Wolverine coming down. And Iceman and Shadowcat jumping down. She she can escape through walls. Oh, I forgot to mention there was a scene where Bobby and Kitty are skating because Iceman with his powers turns ice into water. The fountains have, And that's a love triangle which I didn't care for at all. That was just really unnecessary in this movie to do that. But anyway, like I said, the final battle takes place for the cure, and X-Men joins them. Wolverine comes down, and they start to fight them, and cutting at them. Beast does some awesome things too. Wolverine shot at people, and they're all putting up a good fight. But when Bobby and Kitty said they jump down on the ground, she could jump back up, and Bobby's like, "Don't ever do that again." I thought that was funny. And one guy fights Wolverine. He's like, "Come on, you can get me," something like that. Damn, I forget. Wolverine's like stabbing, or he's trying, and Wolverine's able to over he's going to bed. He's like, "Come on," he's like, and he kicks him in the ball. He's like, "Throw those back." And Kitty goes to try to save the boy. I do like it when Wolverine and Beast talk. They're like, "I thought you were a diplomat." And he says, "Well, sometimes there comes a time when a man's like, oh, you don't get the point." Or they're fighting the girl that the leader of Omega that once she fights with Storm a little bit, like she's able to move fast, but Storm is able to counter her movements a little better this time. And Storm knocks her ass on electricity poles, and Storm just you know electrocutes her ass, kills her, gives her the shock of her life, shocks the life out of her literally. Um, then Magneto creates all this chaos with the cores that he can use. Those are all metal. He can just throw them and fire with those right down. They're nearly taking half the armor down. The X Men have to cover. Best obvious is a good defense. As Trump finally agrees that they do work as a team, and he's like, "I got an idea." They see a piece of the core and they have an idea for it. Um, Bobby Ice goes as Ice, Iceman goes to fight Pyro. They're freezing at each other. He's using fire. He's using ice, and Pyro comes very close to killing him. He's like, "Oh, Bobby, always in over your head." Except he's able to turn into his Iceman form, grabs him, freezes him. He's like, knocks him out like this, and you should never let. It's 2 seconds. It's just 2 seconds, but it's cool for those 2 seconds. Jean is just standing there watching. In the lab, though, the Omegas they grab they try to kill Warrington, but they do kill the assistant doctor. The guy kills her with his spike powers or whatever that come out of his body. Anyway, they said, "Do like we need your help," and they almost kill Warrington. Warren's dad, but Warren saves his dad time. That's all he does, though. Yeah. Oh, by the way, like I said, he doesn't wear this costume in the movie. He doesn't wear the costume in the movie. He just saves his dad, and that's it. So they really don't do nothing with his character. And Wolverine gets Colossus to throw him at Magneto, like he did before earlier in the movie. He did something Magneto, but Magneto uses powers and says, "You never learn, do you, Magneto?" And Wolverine's like, "Actually, I do." And Beast turns up on him and stabs him with the cure. He's like, "I'm one of them." He's like, "This is what they want." It looks like Jean. And Wolverine tells her, "It's over, Jean." More troops arrive to attack. More of the troops arrive. They start shooting the cure at um, Jean because she knows this because Wolverine's like, "No!" She unleashes the full fury of the Phoenix and destroys everything around her. She kills a lot of the soldiers, and Magneto runs out there too, and just being human just runs out. It's like, "What have I done?" I'm like, "Yeah, Magneto, what you did was stupid." I'm like, "What were you thinking?" The X-Men and Magneto and all the soldiers, they all run off the island. Since he has these regenerating abilities, his healing factor, you know, she can't kill him with it. So you would die for them. No, I'd die for you. For you. She begs Wolverine to kill her. He says, "You like kill me, help me, please. Stop my suffering here." He's like, "Let me just like kill me, like Jean, I love you." Pulls the knives out, pulls out, and stabs her. And he's crying and how because he had to kill the woman he loved. Everything is fine again. Beast is now the ambassador to the United Nations, and the Broke has come back. Yeah, and I didn't like that. They're taking cure, and the X-Men. Everything's well now. They're running. The school's running fine, and everything's back to normal. Everything goes good. They stop Magneto. Magneto's now he's now seeing mostly even playing chess. Yeah, he does miss his abilities, I'm sure. And he goes to a chess piece and it slightly moves. So it could be assumed that he still has his powers. That they might be growing back. There's the end credits scene though with Dr. Myra McTaggart. Yeah, and apparently the patient tells her like, "Hello, Myra." She says, "Charles," and apparently he's back to life. So he went to some other man's body. I don't know how to describe it, but that's the end credits, and that's X Men: The Last Stand. All right, let me give my final opinion on this movie. Again, this movie, X Men: The Last Stand, I think I think it's a huge disappointment. I think it's the weakest. It's not the worst X Men film ever, but I do think it's one of the weaker ones. But for the X Men trilogy, for the first one that came out in 2000, Next Year's Been United, and then we had this, the third and final installment. This final installment of the original X Men trilogy. This is the weakest one of the movies. This is my least favorite. One of my least favorite X Men movies. But I do say again, I would say X Men Origins Wolverine is worse than this, and so is Dark Phoenix, and so is Apocalypse. And I could watch this over the New Mutants, but honestly, it's a film I'm not a fan of anymore. But what I do like about it, well, I do love Hugh Jackman and Holly Berry. I thought Holly Berry was good. It was good to see her take her team, and she gets a lot more to do in this film than she does in the second movie. She does a bit too. First movie, she doesn't do anything. She's just more, a character that's on the bench, a sided character. But in next two, especially X Men 3, they do give her something to do. I thought Hugh Jackman, Holly Berry did a good job. I thought Ian McKellen did a good job despite my issues with the script. I don't blame him. And Patrick Stewart, they all do a good job. Frank of James, all the actors, they all do good. I like the new characters we get. Ben Foster, I think that's his name as Angel. He's good. He just has nothing to do. It's just, and it is cool to have Beast in this film as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention with Juggernaut, there's more stupid dialogue. Remember, he did go save Jeremy, the boy, that can't use her powers. Some stupid dialogue, for instance. Well, I didn't like the girl that played Kitty though. I thought, Ellen Page, whatever her name is. I don't like her as an actress. I thought she was terrible in this role. But Juggernaut's line is like, do you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. And then they're saying, who's hiding? Dickhead. I'm like, stupid dialogue from them. That's the only cast member I didn't like, you know. But yeah, some of the cast I do like, you know. The cinematography is nice though. The movie does look good for 2000. Excuse me, for 2006. It does look good in the editing. The editing, it's my three editors. So sometimes the editing I felt was a little bit choppy at times. I'm not saying it's a bit. It felt like not too much shaky cam, but I thought the editing was a little choppy at times. The music score by John Powell was really good. That's one of the best parts of it. And the action, when the action is there, it can be good. Sometimes the fight scenes, especially like with Beast fighting or Wolverine fighting toward the end of the movie climax, I thought was a bit shaky at times, or the editing I thought was terrible. My main problem with this movie is the story. I don't think the story is very good. I don't like the whole thing with the cure. It's stupid and it's pointless for an X-Men movie. I don't. Yeah, it could work, but in this movie, it doesn't work at all. You don't need this cure thing. It's stupid. I get it. They're trying to end the trilogy, but you didn't need Jean Grey coming back. Yeah, you didn't need Jean coming back and your Fat Benjamin coming back as the Phoenix. I mean, that was just stupid. They ruined the Phoenix story. Now you could say they ruined Deadpool, but they did ruin Deadpool and X-Men Wolverine. They even ruined more of the Phoenix story, the Phoenix saga, with with X-Men Dark Phoenix. That's even worse than this movie. But this movie ruined that too. This movie killed the Phoenix character as well. Now, yes, she is more of a threat here, but having her here was stupid. They kill off Cyclops, awesome character Cyclops. You kill them all. He's the leader of the X Men. You kill him. You kill off Professor X. Professor X is an asshole in this movie. Yeah, for what he did to Jean. Yeah, you kill off some characters, and you make Mystique human, which was dumb. You want to see these characters used very good. The Angel seems like a good character, but Angel's a pointless character in this movie. He doesn't do anything. Rogue, her taking the cure at the end, I hated that. It was stupid. And I hate to say it, but even some of this movie, when we get to the climax of the movie, kind of got boring at times a little bit. Just a little boring for me. Or I just was uninterested in what was happening. Because the story, I think, is so lame and, so uncreative what they did with it. Britt Ratner did not know what he was doing. Did not know how to make an X-Men movie, in my opinion. He did a terrible job directing this film. I just don't blame him. Avi Arad, I blame too. Maybe it was the, and I blame the studio a little bit too, the Fox, because I think the studio wanted to rush this movie out there because it was a time where some superhero movies, even 2005 or 2004, like Spider-Man 2, were making big money. For Marvel, things were going well for them. Like I said, Spider-Man 2, well, down Electro or Blade Trinity, those films weren't good, you know. But X-Men Last Stand doesn't get any better though. It's better than those movies. It's better than Blade Trinity and X-Men. I mean, in Blade Trinity and Electro. But again, I think the Fox just rushed it because it's just that it felt like they just put too much in here with the Phoenix and the Cure story and just too many characters to shove in here. I didn't care about the Omegas. They were annoying. You didn't need all this extra characters in here. You know, you kill off Mystique nearly, make something human. You kill off Jean Grey by the end, and I'm like, no, they could have done better, like in space. I'd rather her become as a Phoenix when she dies, like a bird kind of like, like at least at the end of Extra Phoenix, you had the Phoenix, and they could have had that. Maybe Jean ends up in space. Aliens take her. Yeah, that was, you could have just done this in space. Save for another movie. They should have had the Hellfire Club. We didn't get that to our first class, by the way. Anyway, you should have gone with the Hellfire Club. I do believe that Bill Ratner, you know, and the writers just said, nope, screw it. They had a good story. He gave them some good ideas, and they just threw it out the window. And you get some weird scenes where she's being examined on the top. I'm talking about Phantom Jamez. Yeah, that was a weird scene. And yeah, but what's enjoyable about it? Again, I do enjoy Hugh Jackman. He seems like the only character in this movie who's common sense. Magneto is a good villain. Don't get me wrong, he's a great villain. But decision to think he can control Jean is just dumb. Jean nearly uses her abilities to, with the cure, to almost attack it on him. I'm like, she could attack you anytime or kill you like that. Same thing. I'm like, if she killed your friend, she killed your friend, she killed Charles Xavier. What makes you think she won't kill you? And you say you can control him? How could you control her? You know, yeah, Magneto gets his powers taken away for good reason because he was being stupid. I'm like, but again, it's a disappointing way for them to end the X Men original trilogy. I mean, like I said, it would get worse after this. This was like, in my opinion, the beginning of the downfall of the X Men franchise. Because after this, everything went downhill. I enjoy the action. When the CGI is there, I do think the CGI is good in the movie, and I love the music for it. Some of the action, like some of the fight scenes, have any charm, but the action scenes are so good though. I think Spider-Man 3, even though I say I would watch this over Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 3 at least has good action in there that's not choppy in the editing. There's some. Well, that was a bit choppy in some scenes with the editing, or maybe I just, well, it was fast. What was going on? A little fast-paced chopping with toward the end, but when the action's there, the action is really good. It's just the story I hated. The story was my number one problem, and what they did with the characters pissed me off. Pisses me off. It was stupid. You know, it was just not a good year for superhero movies. The next Superman Returns up, which is lackluster, and yeah, it's just two directors who are directing superhero movies and they don't know what they're doing. So yeah, Brett Ratner did not need to direct this movie. Thankfully, I don't think he's directed any of the superhero movies. And the script, I don't know what they were thinking. Yeah, script isn't very good either. It's just a huge. It's not one of the worst superhero movies ever made, but I think it's you know one of the weakest, if you will. Like Legends of Zorro, I call weak. A lot of other movies I would call weak. You know, superhero movies I would call weak, and this is definitely one of them. You know, one of the weakest superhero movies though. and the weakest of the X-Men trilogy, in my opinion. The weakest and my least favorite of the original X-Men trilogy. So, and if you love the movie, if you enjoy it more than I did, cool. We can agree, disagree. Again, this isn't a full blown rant. I don't hate this film. I just don't care for this movie anymore. I'm just honestly not a fan of it. It just those things piss me off. But anyway, guys, tell me in the comments down below. What do you think of X Men Last Stand? If you've seen this movie, tell me in the comments down below. What do you think? Are you hugely disappointed with it like I am, or did you enjoy the film, or do you like it, love it more than me? And it's cool if you did. We can agree to disagree here. It's fine. You know, to each his own. But anyway, guys, so stay tuned for my next review. Oh, and my rating for X Men Last Stand, I'm gonna give it a thumbs down. And my rating for this film, I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5 stars. Sorry, I really do think this movie sucks. Sorry, it's not awful, and I do like Kelsey Grammer as Beast. Good cast. It's just I was just disappointed with how they ended it. It was just a disappointing to end this trilogy the way they ended it, in my opinion. But that's X Men: The Last Stand. Yeah, disappointing film in my opinion. But not awful, just hugely, massively disappointing, in my opinion. Again, 2 out of 5 stars. Not bad, just a huge disappointment, in my opinion. Alright. I'll be reviewing another Marvel animated feature. That will be next. Will be Stay tuned because next I will be reviewing Ultimate Avengers 2. I think The Rise of Panther. I have to look it up. Let's see. Yeah, Ultimate Avengers 2 will be next. Yeah, Ultimate Avengers 2, The Rise of the Panther. That will be next. Or Ultimate Avengers 2, whatever. Ultimate Avengers 2, that will be next. So stay tuned for the next review. Ultimate Avengers 2, The Rise of Panther. This will be next. So I look forward to watching this movie. Oh, well, it's like, yeah. Ultimate Avengers 2 will be next. So stay tuned for that. So, guys, again, I hope you look forward to my review of Ultimate Avengers 2. I hope you all enjoyed my revisit review of X Men The Last Stand, review slash rant. But I don't hate this film. Because honestly, it's a movie I probably won't even keep anymore. But, guys, trust me, there are worse X Men movies out there. From here on out, it gets worse with some of the X Men movies. Yeah, those would be more epic rants down the road. But for now, this is the only rant I can give you from an X-Men movie. That's just my opinion. Take it for what you will. Don't take it the wrong way. Never take my opinion personally. Remember, it's just my point of view from the movie. You don't have to agree with me. I can't make you think the way I think. The world doesn't work like that, you know. Different opinions make this world a better place. So, and perspectives too, and all film is subjective. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and my rating for this film again is 2 out of 5 stars and a thumbs down. So let me know what you think about the X-Men Last Stand movie, and stay tuned for my review for Ultimate Avengers 2, The Rise of Panther. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye. See you later. Bye. So stay tuned if I do another video today. Bye.